Oh, yes. This is juicy, guys. We've known for years Todd McFarlane has been wanting to do a Spawn remake reboot. Oh, well, Todd. Okay, there's some salty people out there regarding Todd McFarlane. Oh, he's been saying that for years. Like, listen, dude, Todd is not like a Hollywood guy. His warehouse for his toy company is in Arizona. He's based out of AZ. Represent. He's not an LA guy. He's not a Hollywood guy. He's like a no bullshit kind of guy. So when he does interviews, he he tells the truth. So recently it was announced, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Jamie Foxx attached for the Spawn reboot, which is awesome. That's A-list as far as Spawn is concerned. Now everybody was pissed off because Todd McFarlane said he was going to direct the movie. Because after they botched Spawn in '97, I don't think it's botched. We'll get into that. So back in 2017, Todd's like, "Yo, we're doing Spawn. Oh, we're gonna do it gritty like Joker." But Joker wasn't even out at the time. But he was like, "We're gonna do it gritty. You know, we're gonna, but the studios may not want it because it's gonna be R-rated and it's gonna be gritty and not like a $200 million PG-13 superhero movie. So like the studios won't give me the money for the movie I want to make." So that's his excuse for not making the movie all this time, right? So, but when he did announce Jamie Foxx, Jeremy Renner, the ball was rolling, right? Blumhouse is attached. That's all great news. But then it kind of went radio silent, right? I think it's because Todd wanted to direct it, and he was writing it too. That's a hard sell, dude, and he knows it. So let me get to my point here. Todd McFarlane is saying now that it was announced recently this week. They got the writer from Joker. They got the writer from Falcon and the Winter Soldier who's doing Captain America 4. And then they got another writer that I'm not familiar with his work. That's 3 writers on this, okay? So that's already some A-list, top-tier writers. You got Joker, R-rated, made $1 billion. That's Todd McFarlane's whole thing. He wants to do Spawn low budget. He wants to use Spawn very sparingly, like Jaws. At least this was his pitch. He recently said these new writers have an interesting take that may not line up with the comic books, but it's more in line of what Todd wants to do with the movie. And he recognized the fact, like, hey, I'm the odd man out now. All these writers are A-list. We've got Jamie Foxx. So I'm not going to be the weak link here. So I'm probably not going to direct the movie. That's what he said at the Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con recently. He's like, I'm probably not going to direct this thing. I don't want to be the odd man out here. I want a real director. He's like, we have all this A-list now. But can you get an A-list director for such a low budget? Because they want to keep it low budget. He says it's not going to be a $200 million movie. My pick for a director would be Scott Derrickson, who directed Doctor Strange, Black Phone, Sinister, one of my favorite Hellraiser movies, Hellraiser Inferno. He knows the tone. He's a great, like, the cinematography. I don't know. He probably doesn't film it himself, but he has like a visual eye, and the way he forms his movies, it's right up Spawn's alley. So I think Scott Derrickson would be a perfect director. That's just me though. But people are still in doubt about this movie happening. Oh, people don't really want a Spawn movie, and oh, do we really need a Spawn movie? What is the deal with? Maybe it's because the movie from back in '97 was such a bomb. It's like the opposite of the Blade situation, right? Blade is iconic. I talked about it last week. It's R-rated, great soundtrack, beautiful visuals, and then you get a Spawn, big studio movie, very expensive. I'm not sure the budget at the time is very expensive, visual effects heavy movie. Michael Jai White killed it as Spawn. As far as I'm concerned, he's like the gold standard. The only live action Spawn we have. It wasn't his fault. That the '97 Spawn movie was not the actor's fault. It was the era's fault. But you do have the Blade that's like a year later, but they did go R-rated for Blade. They didn't go R for Spawn. So they weren't able to do the things that, necessarily Todd McFarlane wanted to do. That's why you don't handcuff yourself and you make a PG-13 character out of an R-rated character. It's just, that's the proof, man. So, and then you have John Leguizamo as the Violator, right? The clown. Bravo. That's peak right there for Spawn and his villains. But they just didn't have the budget for the hell. And I can get into a whole thing about the Spawn movies, but I grew up on that movie, so obviously I'm going to have a slight bias towards that. But obviously the CGI does not hold up. But the story holds up. And I don't think you do need to have a big budget for a new Spawn movie. You could probably make a good Spawn movie for $80 million. That's high end. $50 million. And if you're going to keep Spawn in the shadows, use them sparingly, I do think you need to have the Violator in the first movie. He wants the universe. Todd McFarlane wants a universe, a Spawn universe. But you got to make the first one good. With these writers, the Joker writers, Captain America writers, I think you guys can do something. We thought, I wanted a release date. Enough of this. We're in development. We're trying to pitch to the, you got Blumhouse behind you guys. What is going on with this movie? Why is Jason Blum so scared to pull the trigger on this thing? Especially if he's already invested time signing the deal with Todd, saying he wants to do it. If he wants to do it, bro. Go finance this fucking thing. What's going on here? But I do think Spawn is very ripe for another adaptation. At first, I was hoping for Michael Jai White to come back and kind of have a redo like Deadpool did with Ryan Reynolds. Obviously, that's not what's happening anymore. But Jamie Foxx is Jamie Foxx. If you're gonna get anybody, he's the perfect guy to do it. What do you guys think about Spawn? There's not really much more I can say about it. Did you like the old Spawn movie? What do you guys think about these writers? Who do you want to direct this thing? Because obviously Todd McFarlane is not doing. He's not going to direct this thing. He already said, I'm not. 99% chance I'm not going to direct this movie. Got the Spawn movie. Got new writers. Fucking Todd McFarlane over here in his warehouse trying to direct a Spawn movie. Blumhouse is like, please just hire a real director. It's like, we get it, Todd. They botched the original reboot. We get it. But now you got some A-list talent involved, man. Let them handle it. And of course, be on set. You're a producer, obviously. You're the creator. They're not gonna fuck it up. They know exactly what they want to do with this Spawn movie. I have all the good intentions. I'm sending good intentions their way, positive vibes for the Spawn movie. Jamie Foxx is like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm doing the Spawn movie. So we're getting it. I hope they announce a date soon.